Alright guys, we're back for part 2 on this planted setup for low light stuff. We're going to put it to work. We're actually going to be using our BIOCUBE. We got a lot of people that come in, hey, can you use it for freshwater? We're going to show you how to use it, or how you can potentially use it if you want to. And we're going to set up this whole thing with some low light plants, hopefully give it a good looking aquascape and see how it goes. Right here I've got all the aquascaping supplies laid out about what I'm going to use. We'll talk about them, how we end up using them, why we're going to use them this way, especially when it comes to like the glue, the epoxy, and when you see me lay out the substrate, why I sloped it from front to back the way I did. Alright, so for substrate we're using fluval stratum. I love the stuff. It's great for the plants, has a lot of nutrients in it already. We laid the base layer of that, and I laid the foundation piece, the first rock, and just got it covered to figure out how it would look and make sure it looks right to where I want it. As of right now for the stratum, we have used one of the big bags. I believe it's 20 pounds roughly, and I'm working on another smaller bag that's somewhere in that 5 to 7 pound range. We'll see how much I end up using. Alright, so right now we've got a dry run, making sure everything's gonna fit and look how I want it to look. Now it's time to rip everything back out, epoxy it, glue it, and get it right, and then we can put it all back together and let's get started. I'm getting the epoxy ready. It's not going to take much, and we're going to use this to secure the rocks together just to help them out a little bit so that way they don't fall or go anywhere. Cool part about this, you take a little bit, you mix it up, get it where you want it, and then 24 hours after it's been underwater and everything, it'll fully cure. And then after the plants grow in, you'll never know it's in the tank. As you can see, things have changed a little bit. It always does when you're doing this, but I'm still happy with the base design. And now that that's all done, we're going to throw some water in it. We're going to pick our plants out and get to go shopping for plants. So we've got the initial water in, and the reason we've only filled it up about a quarter of the way is we want this just enough so that way it'll make it easy for us to plant, and it doesn't kick up all that dust. Because when you go to try to plant anything that is nearly set up, the dust makes it incredibly hard to get things where you want it and make it look right. Alright, so now that that's done, we're going to go plant shopping. Let's go find some cool things. If you've seen part 1, you recognize these. This is going to be pretty much 90% of what we set up last week, so let's see what I can find that's fun and entertaining. We got some work cut out. We've got to clean up the pots, get all the rock wool off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a towel real quick and cover these, because as long as the leaves stay wet, we'll be good for quite a while. So we've got the plants we've chosen out here. The majority of it is Anubis. I love the plant. It's simple to plant, simple to take care of. The real issue with this stuff is you can give it too much light and it'll start burning and putting holes in it. So with something as a low light setup, it'll be real easy to take care of, and we really don't have to do a whole lot to it. Now first I'm gonna go ahead and, all these plants that you see in the pot, I'm gonna go ahead and break all these down and show you how to do that real quick. Really simple, push it up and out. And then a lot of them, they have a seam and it'll just fall apart for you. You really don't have to worry about hurting the roots too much. A lot of it will just come right away. You don't have to worry about getting all of the rock wool off either, because a lot of that has the good bacteria that we keep looking for in our cycle, and that'll help us out a lot too. I've got Bacoba on these. I went ahead and just stripped the bottoms 2-3 inches so that way when I go to plant it, the roots can form and it'll hold itself to the bottom with no problem. Up next I got Kabamba, another stem plant. It's going to be really frilly, it's going to have some volume to it, add some depth to the tank as well. Up next, I'm going to be doing a whole lot of Anubis. This one right here is going to be the narrow leaf. Alright, so right here we also have more Anubis. This stuff is the smaller variety, and we're going to end up gluing it down to the rocks by the rhizome, because then the roots are going to end up getting in the cracks and holding it really nice, and the glue is just there to really support it till it grows in. We've got Anubis Nana Golden, we've got Anubis Nana Petite, Anubis Bonsai, and then this right here is a little bit older, more grown out Anubis Nana. Alright, so right now I'm just getting the super glue ready. Seachem Flourish super glue. We're going to be using this to secure some of the rocks together. We're going to be using it to secure the driftwood to the rocks, and eventually we're going to use it on some of the plants as well. So we've got our plant right here. We have the rhizome. All we're going to do is just a little bit, and then we're going to go find a crack to put it in. Alright, so up next we got two of my favorite plants. We've got Cryptocorn Wendeti. We have both a red and a green variety. And then we've got a dwarf tiger lily. Really like these plants because they stay small and bushy. And if you want to trim them down, all you gotta do is pick a few leaves off. It's an interesting texture, it breaks up the monotony. And then with this plant, the color is unbelievable. It'll grow up to the top and give you some shade. Just a really fun plant. Plus, it's one of the only ones I found to be really moody. Well, all three of them really. When you plant them, if they don't like the water parameters right away, they'll kind of eject all their leaves. Don't throw them away though. Give them a couple days. They'll start growing new ones. Alright, right here we've got Java Moss. Just going to break this down into smaller little sections just for a little detail work, make it look really well. This is one of those things you can throw in a tank and just forget about it, and you'll come back in a couple months with way more than you ever anticipated them having. Alright, we're finally done planting, what, 2.5 hours later, Connor, something like that. Now it's just the fun part, filling it up, making sure it's all working, setting the lights. We're on the home stretch. Alright, so this is our freshwater BIOCUBE. Everything's planted, good to go. Only thing we're going to do is shut the lid now, turn the lights on, get them programmed. Come see us, check it out. Here in the coming week or two, we'll get some livestock in here, get it all nice and pretty. If you got any other questions, comment down below, message us on Facebook, call us, and if you're not, go ahead and subscribe, like us on Facebook, check us out, and thanks for watching.